Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jippy and it is so good to have you all back here. And today I thought I'd jump into a new series where I take a look at some of the weapons in Battlefield 5 and I give them a historical analysis and see what they were really like in World War II and what are the historical accuracies of these guns within Battlefield 5. Now, the best way to start, I thought, would be to go from the very first gun. So the first gun in the first class, which is the assault class, is the SturmGewehr 1.5. Now, I'll also be covering the Gewehr 1.5 because they're essentially the same weapon. One of them's semi-automatic and the other one's fully automatic. And so I thought today we'll take a historical look at these weapons. Now, the SturmGewehr 1.5 and the Gewehr 1.5 were in real life known as the Volkssturmgewehr. The Volkssturmgewehr was used by the Germans. This was at the very end of the war, though. This gun was first made in January of 1945, and it was first used in combat in the February of that year. Now, this gun used a 30-round semi-automatic basically gas blowback system, and it wasn't fully automatic. So within Battlefield 5, the SturmGewehr 1.5, or the first gun that you unlock as the assault class, isn't really that historically accurate, but I can see why they did that for game reasons, and also it's a bit fun to use a fully automatic SturmGewehr, in my opinion. But the this gun was only semi-automatic. So if we're looking at it from a historical accuracy perspective, the Gewehr 1.5 would be the most historically accurate version of this gun in Battlefield 5. Now, this gun used 30-round semi-automatic magazines, and these magazines were taken from STG-44s, so they were readily available already. Now, this gun wasn't produced by the German army, it wasn't produced by the Wehrmacht, it was produced by the Nazi Party. Now, the Nazi Party at the end of World War II were growing more disillusioned and more they just lost touch with reality, in all seriousness, and the ideas that the Nazi Party had severely clashed with the ideas that the Wehrmacht had, the German army had, in terms of how to defend the country. Now, the Nazi Party decided to just screw the German army over, essentially, and just go, screw you, we're not going to listen to you, and they decided to create their own army. Now, in the way that they created this army was to basically form a People's Army. Now, the People's Army, otherwise known as the Volkssturm, so you can see where the Volkssturm out of the Volkssturmgewehr came from, was essentially just a gun made up, a army made up of civilians. And this army was just all civilians that have been drafted from various cities around Germany to hold the defenders off and to push them back. That was the idea of the Nazi Party, and that they would win a glorious victory. Now, knowing this from a historical perspective, it didn't really work out this way. The Nazi Party ultimately just got absolutely wiped out. The Volkssturmgewehr was not the Volkssturm was not effective at all. It was completely ineffective and didn't offer that much resistance to the Allied soldiers. So this gun essentially was only produced by the Nazi Party. So that meant that all of the manufacturing and the industrialization that the German army had set up to produce their guns was effectively useless in the production of the Volkssturmgewehr. Now, only 10,000 of these weapons were ever manufactured. However, they were designed with the idea that there was meant to be a bulk amount of them, like, I don't know, 100,000, 200,000, and the idea was that you would have all of these weapons really quickly. Now, the problem with this, though, is that you need time to set up efficiency within your production line, and the German party didn't have that time. So, again, they only made about 10,000 of them. However, if you look at the design of these guns, and if you're interested in looking into the design of these guns, by the way, I would highly recommend you check out Forgotten Weapons' video about this gun. And it is actually incredibly informative in the way that they show the components of the gun. He does like a strip of the gun, a field strip of the gun, and they look at all the components in them. And it's very interesting to see that this gun was mainly made up of stamped parts, which were really cheap, really quickly to manufacture. And then they were welded together, and then they were held by rivets. Now, this was unheard of in the German army. No other gun had been essentially made from completely stamped parts, welded together, and then held together by rivets. These were not considered high-quality guns. These were considered to not have a long lifespan at all. The idea behind these guns were you would use them to fight the enemy. If they broke, you make a new gun, and then you go to fight the enemy with that new gun. It didn't have a long service life at all. So, in the end, how has Battlefield 5 done with their historical portrayal of this gun? I would say pretty well. Now, there are quite a few differences, of course, from the real-life Volkssturmgewehr from the SturmGewehrs and the Gewehr in the game. Now, of course, the SturmGewehr 1.5 fully automatic, that wasn't how it was in real life. Also, the Gewehr 1.5 has a scope on it. That's not how it was in real life either. But, however, I will give Battlefield 5 and DICE credit for making the gun very historically accurate in terms of the way it looks. It does look almost exactly like that. It does have a 31 round magazine with, of course, one in the chamber, and it does fire and look pretty similar. I'm talking, of course, from what I've seen on YouTube videos. So the final score I would give Battlefield 5 for the historical rate accuracy of this gun would be 3.5 SturmGewehrs out of 5 SturmGewehrs. Now guys, hopefully you have enjoyed this type of video. It's been an absolute thrill to make it. It has been really interesting for me to do some research on the gun as well, to learn that it was not in fact used by the German army at all, or if it was by individual soldiers who were just scrounging for weapons, any weapons they could find. So it was very interesting for me to read up on, and I hope you guys enjoyed this and you liked this sort of historical analysis of this weapon. Now, the next, I guess, weapon is completely up to you. If you want to see any particular weapon, make sure to leave a comment down below letting me know what weapon you would like to see next. And if you see someone else has already made a comment on a weapon you want to see, make sure to like that so I can see that at the top of my feed. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked this, make sure to leave a like down below, and if you want to see more of these videos, make sure to subscribe. And to let you know that they're in your inbox, why not hit that bell? It lets you know as soon as they come out that they're there. Anyway guys, have an absolutely fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching this video, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye!